Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another live stream. Oh, another one on the Hermitcraft. Oh, I would have never have thought. Welcome back to the twitch.tv/the Xisuma, where we have the bananas in the chat from May School, Chiwi Pepper, the Cheese Eater, Soundwave Hope, and Wilma. Thank you so much for those bananas letting me know that we are live, that you can hear me, that all is good in the hood. And I hope all is good in your hood, wherever you are. And her T, thank you ever so much for 4 months. Tunker out, thank you for 12, a whole year right there. Incredible, incredible stuff. Cactu PNG, thank you for 8 months. I want to grab some stairs. Some stairs I want to grab. Do you know what? I was just thinking, what's not quite as dark as Blackstone? Ooh, I've got the stairs, haven't I? I've got the stairs. Those three are pretty much it, aren't they? Oh, then there's polished as well. Let's grab some cobbled deep slate. We are listening to some Frank Lapaki, the one, the only. Been on a bit of a kick. Had a bit of a CNC nostalgia yesterday. Watching some videos about those games and listening to the soundtrack and stuff. So yeah, I was like, today it's got to be some CNC. I think I'm going to take about this much with me. I think actually I think I might be a little shy of what I need. Hey, we're working on the basement. I am just jumping straight into what we need to do. Hey X, what are you cooking for the Iskau return party? Says BS Haru. Nothing. You know, Iskau, I hope to bump into him on the server when he comes back, you know. I'm sure we'll have some excuses to do some stuff together at some point. But I'm not going to make a big deal about it or anything. Like, I'm not creating some big return thing, you know. I am currently just chipping away down here in the basement, as I want to tie off this loose end and... Oh, goodness me, that's loud. Cowboy up, thank you for the cheers and the biddies. No message to that one other than... Actually, there is a message. It says, good morning, X. Yes, Sunday morning live stream. Not as early as I've done them in the past. It used to be, like, quite the thing for me to do... Dang it, they keep spawning over here. I need to sort that out. Spectral arrows for the win. It used to be quite the thing for me to do a morning stream, right? Like, earlier than this kind of time. And then I noticed that just recently that habit has changed a little bit. I haven't been hitting that as much, so this wasn't really as early as it could have been. But I had other things to do today that took priority, so it was like, take care of those, do a stream, and maybe we'll try and get back into the groove of doing those early streams again. As I think it's a nice thing that we do here. Mercuriah JK is here for 11 months, saying haven't caught a stream for a while. Haha, hope everyone has have a good day. Good luck with everything. Thank you, my dude. Thank you. Yeah, welcome back. I have been streaming a little less as of late. And that'll change at some point, I imagine. Just got to get my new system sorted out. And ran into a bunch of headaches with that. Which I'll tell you about. Hopefully it'll be useful to anyone else who runs into a similar blah, 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 situation with that stuff. I guess I'll just use this for now. Oops. No, that's not what I want. Let's take that much. Yeah, I'll just make the top out of the polished slabs. And now... Hey, S1W! Thank you for gifting a sub to Santa of Scarva. Greatly appreciated. Hope you're enjoying the stream, and Santa, be sure to say thanks in the chat. How's your new PC holding up, X? Says Cameron. I mean, it's all been put together, it works. I tweaked some settings in the BIOS and ran a benchmark on it, and it made some improvements, so that was kind of cool. But the next step for me is to now start getting Windows 11 set up. And I'll explain exactly what's been happening with that in just a mo. Right, so that I needed to make that change, and I'm glad I did. Then we need to put like some sort of light over here. I just threw away a bunch of torches, didn't I? Let's find out. Where are they spawning? Yeah. I knocked out a torch from around here somewhere because I was working on this and figuring out like the view and stuff. Yeah, so let's talk about what I'm currently thinking, right? In fact, let me walk you around what I did in between streams. I just sussed out this little area over here. Right? Nice and pleasant. Comes all the way up to here, and then it's like I'm not quite sure what I want to do with this. Right, I was trying to put like a bit of a structure around it, but I'm not sure if that were the way forward or not. Then we've got this over here to work with. Then this thing, and it's like, how big of a room do I want over here? Maybe I'll put another project in here. That's a bit of a problem, isn't it? And look at this. There's another area that I lit up. It needs a bit of tweaking over in this area, I think. There's snow down here as well. But this is like another spot to make one of those views. So, the last one is there. There's some waterlogged stuff here that needs taking care of. It's kind of looking to me like this whole area is going to end up... like, that's going to be the boundary. Then it's going to come across in this direction, and we can have a view just about here into that space that will look kind of cool. And then the rest of that, I don't know. Like, I like the idea of it being something sort of complete. But I think it's going to end up being something partial, where you see some of it in this area and then the rest down there. It's really weird how, like, the brain, I don't know, wants to make things look a particular... I don't know, it's a really strange process for me. Like, why do I want to see all of this together as opposed to, like, partial? I don't have an answer for these questions. So, I'm not expecting to make, like, a crazy amount of progress or anything. It's, like, something you just got to chip away at slowly, I think. We can also, quite possibly... I was about to say reorient this, because the redstone footprint might get in the way. I don't think we have a crazy amount of flexibility there. Or maybe we do. Maybe things can be done here. Because I want to cover up some of this redstone and make it look structural. So I think what I want to start with is maybe, again, symmetry, mirroring things is kind of easy. Let's get some spruce wood in, the equivalent of that side over here, and get this thing feeling kind of complete. And then I don't really want to continue with the spruce wood into that area, so I'm not quite sure what's going to happen, or maybe we do, maybe it just ends over here. So we start with something simple, where we just kind of know, alright, we can get into this. And eventually we'll work our way around to those other things that I talked about. Rip Eye Blind, thank you ever so much for your Prime subscription. Mace is saying, is the top bar broken? What's wrong with the top bar? Looks fine to me. Mace, I've got no idea. Alright, maybe it was slow to update. Okay, yes, you know, slobs, their whole system. Occasionally, I guess it can slow down or something. Trash Pando, thank you for your Amazon Prime subscription. Greatly appreciated. Peeps, if you did not know, you can use Amazon Prime to subscribe to someone on the Twitch. And also, if you're here and you haven't hit the follow button, please do consider it. You know, you get notified when I go live. Also, I've got a hot cup of decaf coffee. The Bastilian says the background music reminds me a little bit of the band Apollo 440. Well, anything that reminds you of Frank Klepacki is something I'm going to check out. Apollo 440. I will investigate. I love Frank Klepacki's style. It's really like kind of overt, janky, old, obnoxious, and yet, despite seeming like a little bit tacky on the onset, it's really enjoyable stuff. Really enjoyable. I've been obsessed with the Command & Conquer music since I was a kid, basically. It was like Christmas of 1995. And yeah, my dad got this game, Command & Conquer, right? It was all the rage. I wanted to check that out. Even though it was like an older, violent game, but I was allowed to play it and absolutely loved it. But one of the things that just really stuck with me was the music. And so, several years later, I don't know, how long later? Like when I was in my teens, you know, I started to learn about what's possible on a computer. Like you can kind of like break apart files from a computer game and discover things and stuff, right? And so I was learning how you get inside the music on the games and extract it all. And so I was obsessed with these games and the music in it. And then one day I got to like extract it all and have it in my own collection to listen to. And from then I just absolutely loved it. It was like, this is my jam. I am obsessed with this music. So yeah, I still to this day just really love these soundtracks. Okay, we're gonna do that, and then again over here, and then above there we can probably go spruce all the way up, or maybe introduce some other materials, and that kind of settles what we're looking at there. I think it makes sense maybe to put a roof in somewhere around here. Like, maybe directly above me in this gap is just a roof. I could continue that kind of in this space here too, and then I don't know what goes beyond there. You see, I've got no plan, no vision. It's all really weird. I'm just taking stuff that's sort of like stuck in this area and trying to give it a bit of structure and whatnot. Now, what I could do is I could actually make this part of sort of like the end or the edge of all of this area. We could keep our beacon beam hidden back here. Like, the cutoff point could be around here, and you like come around to this space and go into the next area, which could mean I could avoid this nastiness of clearing out all of that, and then have our little viewpoint somewhere down here, the next one. Many different things we could do. Or here? And then maybe like another one over there, looking into that space. Actually, that'd be a way to bring all of this in, is that we could have a viewpoint here. Okay, I like that idea of cutting things off a bit more. It might make this a little easier if it's more contained. So we'll start going in that direction. Okay, I know where I'm at. I know where I'm at. And I'm going to have a sip. And I'm going to thank Slytro for gifting a sub to BSHAru0. Thank you for gifting that sub. Greatly appreciated. BS, be sure to say thanks in the channel. BS always sounds like short for what's that word? Bullsha? Yeah, bullsha, that's it. Yeah, that's the one, yeah. Bullsha tea. Bullsha tea, that's it. Jonathan Bass, 20, thank you for your Amazon Prime subscription, and Poster Nerd, thank you for 14 months of support. Bull Spruce. Oh yeah, Bull Spruce, there you go. I mean, fudge. Fudge is one of my words I can go to. Do you know what, peeps? I just don't give a fudge. You know what I mean? Sounds so good, doesn't it? Sounds way better. Bruce Springsteen. Spadoosh Springsteen. Ooh. Oh, that's because I moved. I saw the redstone turn on and I remembered, oh yeah, that's because I'm moving. Okay. Right, so I think this bit here is kind of small, easy to work with. I can kind of see, again, just using the spruce, I would like to bring in a little something extra, but you know, the edges, they kind of tie up. Maybe we can... On this side, That is rude! Oh! Get wrecked. So where's that one come from, right? Because I routinely check all of this. It's all there's like a tiny little bit over here. I see, I see. Oh, I don't have any more food, do I? Need to go grab some more food. Get lichen. I put it right there. Yeah, I'll take care of that. Nice. Right, we go up to go down. Food, please. Somewhere. I think we're done with the deep slate for now. Although that might be material we bring more of into the mix. I have to really restrain from humming these tunes right now. Okay, don't want that. Probably going to need Another shulker box. And then put some deep slate in it, because I got a feeling, I don't know, deep slate is just like, it's calling me. It's like, hey, oh, there's some tuff in here. How did that get in there? Interesting. My system shouldn't have allowed that. I'm going to allow this. What is that from? Future Armor? I'm going to allow this. Yeah, where the cobbled at? Right, now we've got a chest of these blocks. Portable chest, the best type. Lost, Boehm, Ranky, 360. Thank you ever so much for your 7 months of support. It is appreciated, and I hope you're enjoying the stream. Somehow, basement expansion is my favourite thing to do in Minecraft, says Keo Bunex. Awesome. Well, you're in the right spot. I don't usually have basements. This season, I have one though. Yeah, so I reckon in this spot actually, I'm just gonna. I don't really want it to be just spruce. Let's see if we can put some jungle alongside it. Basically slabbage. Slabbage is cabbage. Get some jungle wood up in here too. Okay, and then like, just like that really. A few bits of both. Occasionally it's a trapdoor, something like that. And you know, it's going to have a little bit of a patchwork look, and I think that's probably a good thing. And then maybe just there, no. Because it's a different block, I was thinking maybe you could like have a different shape next to it, but then it covers it up, so that's kind of weird. Right, and then that just fills in that little patch there. It definitely feels a little bit patchworky. We need something to prop up these. What we could put in, actually no, I had a really dumb idea. Really dumb idea. We need some technical, fancy-looking blocks now. What we had done before was this, and we could do that again in a couple of spots here, just to make it look propped up and proper. Propped up and proper, mate. I think over here we'll have some other material as the roof and just have everything elevated. That's probably going to work, and we'll find a way to like carve off this section into a wall or something. So now we need like structures, and yeah, like I said, we had this kind of like hopper and dropper configuration, which we don't actually want over here. But we will use the trapdoors again. That we will, and then we need some sort of texture that's interesting that goes behind it. And then I think we're on to a winner. Speaking of winners, Organ Boy Taylor, thank you for subscribing and using the Prime, my dude. Greatly appreciated. I hope you're having a good time hanging out with us today. We've got Fegley here for 26 months as well. Greatly appreciated. Greatly appreciated. Deep Slate Walls, says Mentor Stars. Ah, I like what you're thinking. I like what you're thinking. Here's my take on it. Well, let's just put it in first. It doesn't quite match up with that. If it like went all the way to it and met just there, then yeah, that would be pretty wonderful actually. I'm also acutely aware now that we need like a light source somewhere here. The lighting's really good though in this area. We'll figure out where it goes in a bit. So what are we going to put behind the trapdoor? We can kind of put anything. I like the idea of using composters again. Oh yeah, it still might, yeah, it still sort of suffers that thing here where you've got like that gap. That's really annoying actually. So maybe we rethink this a bit. Use a grindstone. That's a cool suggestion. That is a cool suggestion. Tiger Lily says, I haven't seen X's stream in ages. Well, welcome back to another one. Welcome back. Queen Tail, or Tally? No, yeah, Queen Tally. I did see your message. I didn't reply because it's just the kind of thing where it's like, I shouldn't have to explain why that's something we can't do. you know, gathering tons of copyright information, permission from artists, even if it's for charity, all of that kind of stuff is a huge responsibility and just not something that's really going to happen. So I didn't reply to your message. I don't reply to a lot of messages. I read them all. You know, if you see something from me, know that I've read it. Because I'm not trying to be rude, but like I get a lot of messages and I just need to like focus on doing what needs to be done. And a lot of the time that isn't just replying to every message and email that I get, you know. So I just tend not to reply to a lot of stuff. Right. So yeah, maybe we'll just go with that to hold it up. I feel like you need it. Maybe it needs to be in one or two more places, but we don't know quite what's on the other side yet. Although I've got a feeling it's going to be like the end of this area, so maybe we'll put in a pillar here or somewhere else. I don't quite know. And then I wouldn't mind like a little light hanging down. It's just that don't attach properly, does it? Okay. One of the things that like could annoy me about this project, but I like try not to get fixated on things that slow you down. It's just how like this is me like tying up a little area that you don't really see, but I don't want it to be boring down here, and yet it takes so much effort to just figure out how you can make this like area that wasn't really intended to be anything, to make it feel right. It's a really weird process because like here we are spending all this time on these little details. But yeah, I'm also right. I'm in two minds at the moment. Like I'm really sussing out my redstone stuff. Like that's going well. I got another project formulating. Probably no shortage of ideas for the season with those projects. But I am starting to formulate like a future season image in my mind. Last live stream, we did a raid, and the person that we raided had just a world that like kind of reeked of that early Minecraft love, where you're on it every day, filling your world with cool stuff. It reminded me of like my experience on, let's say, like season 2 of Hermitcraft. It was a different time back then. Like the projects that I did, like don't even hold up a candle to this this really awesome world this person had built. But it just reminded me of that, like that kind of like you could see they were like obsessed with that world and like put so much into it. And the last time, well, I've had it for a while, but the last time I think I was really like, you know, totally obsessed, grinding every day, was probably season 2. And then maybe a bit of that came back around like season 6. It's hard to say because over time I put like my time has shifted away from doing stuff on the computer to other things, and I just can't be in there like grinding out a Minecraft world like I used to. I like this deep slate. I don't think we should bring it in yet. I think we should put wood here because we're using a lot of other wood, and I just feel like the deep slate is going to come in soon, and it's going to be like a bit of a stylistic shift, and it needs its place. So I'm going to take that back, and I'm going to grab some wooden fences and stuff. I always seem to end up like building directly on top of where my storage is as well. Does anyone else do that in this game? Feels like a right hindrance. Yeah, that to me looks more like the thing that's holding it up. Okay, then we need the material that sort of goes up here, which might just make sense to use mud again. Mud's been a really, actually, wherever I've used the mud, it's really come in nice in this project, so we can certainly use it again. So when are you planning to go to season 10? Says Com. Com, great question. If you can be so kind as to keep a secret, we're gonna do season 10 of. Oh, hang on. Let me drink my. Oh, mustn't let this coffee go cold. Cameron says, sorry, X, I need to go now. Oh, Cameron! No, don't leave me! Really sad that I couldn't stay, and I hope you have a nice stream. Thank you, my dude. Yes, it'll be uploaded to the second channel. Ooh. Do you have time to chat about what some of the problems for the younger generations or will be faced with? I think the younger generations and myself... some good coffee. I think the thing that younger generations than myself are going to have to grapple with is the nature of, I think, information on and being always online. I am fortunate enough to have grown up in a time pre-internet and saw the early days of the internet, which was also, by the way, a beautiful experience. Like, oh yeah, isn't that light going to shine through those tracks? That might be kind of cool. It's a bit bright, but yeah. I'd experienced the early days of the internet, and I just think that the internet and the nature of information on it has the ability to really kind of like warp your perspective of the world. I think a lot of people are aware of, what would we call it, confirmation bias, and concepts like this and echo chambers, but not so aware that they're like applied universally. Like, if echo chambers is a problem, it's not those other people, it's like, it's you too. It's like everyone's in an echo chamber. It's the nature of how information is these days. I just think that's the big issue, really. Is how information and stuff and worldviews are being warped by this sort of constantly online thing. Right, yeah, we've got to build like a wall somewhere around here. I've got to see the end of this. We've got to fix in the redstone, which I think I'm going to rotate it. I think I'm going to rotate it so it comes into this space, and then our wall here could actually push out by one block. And the last time we did that, we did it with some mangrove wood and then recessed. I think we can kind of copy that and use that as a framework to maneuver into this new space and create another wall. Okay, we're getting going now. I can feel it. I can feel the things coming together. So we're talking about pushing out by one. Whoops. So that's going to come out. Then we're going to go back again. Except not with that material. Something different here now. I'm not sure if I want to pivot to deep slate yet. I think deep slate's going to come further on in that direction. And what other materials have we used that we might want to... Might want to bring back a little bit of this, actually. It might be possible to bring back some of that. So we'll try and use that to kind of map out the wall and the shape of this next area. And if it lines up well, then we can stick with that. So we're talking about having like 1, 2, 3. Bring it forward again, which is fine because we're moving that redstone. It will go mightily close. I'll admit that. It'll go mightily close. Then we go out again because we need the space. I feel like a big problem is also the negativity online, because it's a lot easier to complain or point out the things going wrong than find positive stuff. Yeah, that's something I think you learn with time. It's easy to be destructive. Like, destruction is often, you know, like, if I give you a cup of tea, it's far easier for you to destroy it with a single action than it is for you to do all of the things that came together, which is built out of human cooperation and understanding and knowledge and whatnot, and put it all together. And for me, like, I like to focus these days more on the beautiful side of things, which is those things coming together. We can look out and find destruction and hurt all over the world, but too often do we not realize how much cooperation and love and working together is like there right in front of us. Like, the bigger the destruction, the bigger the stuff that came before it to, you know, make stuff happen. Which is, it's a really crazy thing, but if you think about it, it's kind of amazing what us humans can do and achieve on this planet together. But, you know, that negativity, it just has that ability to, like, take our focus away and hide those things from us. This is lining up nicely, by the way. I feel like we've found our gig. We've sussed it out. We're bringing back something we've done before, so that's gonna match the aesthetic. Now we're putting the beacon beam behind this area. We're gonna tighten it down a little bit, expand into this space. Yeah, we're getting things sussed out. I don't know quite where this ends, though, is the only thing I will say. I don't know why, but I have to make sure there's a stone under it. So, again, we seem to have our shulker boxes just in the middle of where we're building. It's like unavoidable, basically. Right, there's a nice brighter spot over here. This is where we'll start to drop some chest monsters off. Put some things in there. Hey, the one, the only, Trooper Joe is here for 46 months. We've got Mike H0768 for 4, and Curls of Doom has gifted a sub to Zale Twig. Thank you for gifting the sub, Curls. Appreciate all you do. And Zale, be sure to say thanks in chat. X, do you ever not have the motivation to build, but you need to get started, says Ice Drag. Hey, that's what we're doing today. I didn't actually have motivation. Like, have you noticed how I've been slowly, meticulously plodding my way into all these things that we're doing here? It's because I didn't have like a big inspiration or motivation. I had a rough idea from the times when I was inspired of where this was going. The first step is like action. We start the stream, we just keep looking at the problem and working on it. And because I've persisted and stuck with that, now we're at a point where, oh look, this bit's starting to come together, you know? Motivation was never really part of that. It was always just about doing. So we start by doing. Speaking on the note of like motivation and action and all that kind of stuff, which I, you know, for those of you that are regulars, you know I waffle about this stuff a lot. I watched a video from a channel, Wheezy Waiter, who I've been watching for a long time. I like this guy's experiments and stuff that he does, super interesting. And the video that he made after a break was about having a plan and then executing it, and like how getting stuff done in life often revolves around having a plan and then following it. And sometimes you hear ideas and they hit you and it's like, oh wow, that's really actionable, I can make use of that. And other times you hear ideas and it's like, that's basically what I already do, but I've never thought about it that way. And for me, it just made me realize like how much stuff I do is never really like floating around in my mind. It's more like written down. Like I literally have notepads with lists of stuff to do on them, and like every day I have these priorities that I put down and action upon. And yeah, it was just kind of wild to like hear someone else sort of express that idea, and I never thought about it that way, but that's what I do. And now I feel like it's another thing to waffle on about whenever we talk about motivation and action and stuff like that, is like make a plan and follow through with it. It's such a liberating thing to be on top of something like that. He made this point as well about how sometimes it's nice to have other people make decisions for you. Because sometimes he's like, you know, sometimes you're not sure how to make a plan for yourself. And like, if you get someone else to do it for you, it's nice to just follow a plan. And I experienced that a lot as well. There are times where I suffer with a little bit of, let's call it choice paralysis. Once a week I like to chill out and order like a big fat curry and watch a movie and just, you know, totally relax and enjoy a movie or something like that. And quite often I get in this weird spot where like my brain can't make up its mind about what movie to watch or what to order to eat. To the point where sometimes I've spent like half an hour just feeling like oddly anxious, unable to make up my mind. And I'm like, this is totally unproductive and unhelpful. And so what I learned is like to make the plan in advance, pre-pick the thing you're going to do and don't second guess it. And then when you turn up, you know what the plan is. right? I'm here to do this, let's do it. And then there's no like decision anxiety or whatever, because you already made your plan. You took care of that. Might sound a little silly for the thing that I'm applying it to, but it's just because I already do that with a lot of stuff. Maybe that's a place where it just like emerges a little differently for some reason or something. Anyway, I got to stop waffling and read chat. We got messages here from Organ Boy Taylor saying, "So glad to finally catch a stream and to be subbed. I know you hear this all the time, but I feel compelled to throw my gratitude into the mix regardless. Your content, particularly the streams uploaded to the second channel and Xisuma Says stuff, has been a great source of comfort and peace for me. I struggle with disconnecting from life and my dissertation work, and your content always puts me in the mood to retreat from the front of my brain and do something creative and mindful." Ah, yeah. We all need that balance, right? You got different desires, different things inside of you, and they all need like attention and care and balance. For sure. I would never pretend to know the lived experience of another, but I found enormous catharsis and connection with your vulnerable sharing of experience, particularly the relationship with neurosis and your commitment to growth. Also in your cognitive approach to complexity and your nuanced willingness for open-minded discernment. I respect your willingness to bring those things to the digital space. Much love and much appreciation. Thank you for the very nice message, my dude. That's, yeah, really awesome. Thank you for saying such kind things. You've probably heard me say it before, and I'll say again right now, it's just that, like, I've learned all this stuff through other people sharing it. Like, there's a whole space online of people, like, sharing these ideas and trying to grow and become better humans together. And it's thanks to finding something like that. By the way, this song is absolutely banging. So I try to keep on track here, and there's just like some insane urge to headbang. Yeah, you know, like this is all just stuff that I've learned from going out there and like looking for it. I guess it's one of those things. Like, it's all just passed on. All the wisdom, human knowledge, and whatnot. It's passed down from generations to generations, and in this day and age, you can kind of find it in podcasts, right? Oh, and speaking of podcasts, I listened to a seriously cool podcast the other day. Let's hop up here and just finish the redstone. That, in theory, I mean, that does work. It doesn't really matter that the redstone travels a little further along. I thought I'd just think that over a bit. So you can kind of see that it makes this first bit here somewhat redundant unless I choose to leave it in, but I could bring this down to the ground at the same time is kind of what I'm thinking. Like a big block. Which I really like this pattern that we've built for the room now. I kind of don't want to do that. I guess you'll see it on the other side because it doesn't go all the way up. And you know what I'm going to do? That can be a piece of redstone dust. And then it makes its like footprint a little bit smaller. That's some pro placing right there. I've played this game long enough, I can just confidently do a little jump like that and make it. Put it right in the correct spot. Anyway, this stuff over here next. Oh, why can't we see the whole hotbar? I just forgot to resize the window, I guess. There's all these little jobs you have to do to get the stream prepped, and I'll always forget one or two of them. Rightio. We need to replace 3 blocks, as you can see. Oh gosh, I didn't notice I was on 1%, says Strike No Sight. Do you know what? I don't think my phone ever gets like below 60% or something. I like every night I charge my phone. Just overnight, leave it plugged in. Routine and habit, again. Powerful things that change your life. Like, I've got all these little routines to keep things like that, like peace of mind about it. It's always part of the nighttime routine to plug in the phone, plug in the iPad, Make sure they charge overnight, you know? Which podcast were you talking about, X? Oh, right, okay, Banyan. So I've been listening to Darknet Diaries, which is a kind of like hacking / security focused online, I don't know, like stories of things that people do on the internet. And hence the name Darknet, you know, it goes into like deep web territory and a lot of nefarious stuff. Sometimes some of the stories are quite you hear it from both perspectives. Sometimes you're listening to interviews with people who have committed crimes, and sometimes you're listening to the other side of that, you know, the law enforcement. For me, the whole thing's fascinating. I'm not like, I don't know, screw law enforcement or whatever. Like, I don't have that kind of attitude. I kind of step back from this and just like to hear the story before having any form of like judgment or anything, right? Like, I believe that, you know, cops can be corrupt and that some criminality comes from a good place and everything in between. So, the one that I listened to last time, and I've been really getting into these, I've become like a regular listener now. It's kind of like my thing at the moment. The last one that I listened to was an epic two-parter about a group of teenagers who hacked into the Xbox network. The way that they got in, oh man, this is like, this shouldn't happen anymore. Again, password security, online security, one of these things I'm kind of passionate about. You know, reused passwords was the weak spot. They found their way to a list of passwords and email addresses, and some of the email addresses give you hints as to where these people work or what they do. You know, at Microsoft.com. Are they a Microsoft employee? And they reused passwords and email addresses and basically got into the developer back-end side of the Xbox network. They had access to just an unbelievable amount of fascinating stuff. Ah! There's no ender chest here. We'll do that and we'll buy... Huh. Look at my inventory. What was that? 4 and 4, so I need like 16 diamonds. Impulse will have a... Wait. Is this shop even stocked anymore? Okay, I don't actually see an ender chest. There you go. I took out my diamonds to make trapdoors. Just, oh, dang it. We'll have to come back here with 16 diamonds in a mo. In a mo. I don't mind travelling around. We get to see the incredible Hermitcraft server, don't we? Not surprising, that's how most hacks happen, says Fegley. Yeah, social engineering is often a massive component. And in that context, you know, the weakest point is usually the human, so reusing passwords and stuff. But yeah, I totally recommend it. It's a two-parter about hacking hacking the Xbox. Like, if you're interested in that kind of stuff, like I'm interested in it because I had a hacked Xbox back in the day. I remember there was a waffle that got clipped on Xisuma Says of me talking and like just remembering all this like stuff we used to do, like getting emulators to run on the Xbox and playing Nintendo games. Like, these were probably some of the people in the actual hacking scene that helped put those tools together and stuff. It's just kind of weird now, all these years later, to hear stories from them, but that's the way the landscape is today, and probably how it has always been, actually. Like, they talk about this like 20 to 30 year cycle of nostalgia where things that happened 30 years ago will start popping up in culture because those people that experienced it as like teenagers and had like a strong bond with it, they then grow up and become the people making content, and therefore they make things that they're passionate about, and so you get this kind of like cycle. So it's kind of not surprising to find your way to something that you remember from your childhood or whatever these days, right? Because now all those people are grown up and they can make podcasts about it and stuff. Is essentially where we're at. Right, and this inventory is absolutely full. And therefore we'll chuck a bunch of stuff back into here. Cool, and then we'll get back to the building once we drop these diamonds off. People are always the weakest links, says Fegley. Yes, that's it. That's why I like the idea of, you know, spreading more awareness about security online and what the best practices are for keeping yourself safe. And yeah, it's like I think people just don't have an understanding for how valuable their data is to someone else, because it can be used against you in many different ways. Like, I think it would be mad to have a laptop. I know loads of you listening will have a laptop. And I'll ask you this question, and for some of you the answer will be no. But like, is your laptop encrypted? If the answer is no, it's like, a laptop is a very grabbable thing. And the data that you have on it, you might just think, oh, you know, it's just stuff about me that no one cares about. But like, you'd be amazed at how far small pieces of data can actually go to be used against you. You know, like, you might not have thought about it, but if someone grabs your unencrypted laptop and they're able to pull all of like cookies from things you're logged into and passwords or hashed passwords, there's all this stuff that goes inside a computer that you just might not be wary of. And this might mean they, you know, they get access to your bank details or to some service or company that they can call up and impersonate being you and get more information from there. It's still your identity, or, you know, take money out in your name and run off with it. Like, identity theft, essentially. So, like, if you have a laptop and it's not encrypted, I would seriously recommend reconsidering that. Learning to use something like BitLocker is pretty darn simple. And, you know, all my computers have been encrypted for a long time, and it just gives me peace of mind. If you get robbed, like, you might think, oh, losing my computer, and you might think about the monetary value of that object. That cost me XYZ. But what you should really be thinking is not the computer, not the hardware, it's what's on it that's more valuable. I started doing this, encrypting, and learning about it when I learned that... Oh wait, I'm going to the wrong place, aren't I? When you throw away a hard drive, right, when you're done with it and you send it off to the tip and it goes into the electronics pile, what happens is that then goes to a poor third world country, and this is a practice that I think is, you know, irresponsible and needs to be addressed. I need to craft some lamps, I just realised. Goes to a third world country, gets dumped, and then the poor people that are living nearby that don't have other means of making a living will turn to, you know, digital scamming, basically. They will pick up all of this old hardware, and, you know, that hard drive you might have thrown away, they'll scan it, they'll do everything they can to pull data off of it. And, you know, you might just have cookies that log you into a website on it, or some hashed passwords and an email address, and then they can run that against a list of websites, you know. A lot of stuff, it's not very specific. It's not like they're targeting you, and they're not like, oh, Jane Doe and Facebook, we must link these things together. It's more like systems of vulnerability that they know how to go through. So it's like, we'll pull as many different passwords and email addresses, and then when we've got those, we're going to cross-reference those on all the most popular websites, right? And now you can probably start to see how they just have a computer whizzing through all the different combinations, and then they'll find something. They'll find a vulnerability, and then they'll see what they can do to leverage it against you. And people just aren't aware of this until you get hit by it. You know, your social security gets stolen and you're put in a pinch. it's real stuff that I think people need to be way more aware of. So yeah, so that podcast kind of like goes into the dark side of all that. Like you hear stories about the hackers and the things that they've done, and the guy who hosts it, you know, like he'll bring on people that he's not even sure like ethically he agrees with what they've done or not. But it's about, I guess, having a space in which we can learn about these people and why they did it and whatnot. And so all these fascinating tales are birthed out of all these different episodes. But the latest one about the Xbox that I listened to was just, again, especially fascinating because I'd sort of experienced that era. I remember it. I remember like when people were cracking the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox, and then all of a sudden, you know, you'd know someone who could crack your Xbox and you could play pirated games on it. What I did in that era, I think I had a chipped PlayStation 1 after a while. Like it was funny, it was like a family friend who I think like worked for Microsoft and yet like would give us all pirated software of Microsoft or something. I don't know. I was only a kid, and yeah, we got a chipped PlayStation 1, and then all of a sudden like all of the games we were playing were now CDRs, right? And like copied games and just archives of them. The PlayStation 2, I think I cracked my PlayStation 2 when maybe even like the PlayStation 4 was coming out. It was like a long time, like the PlayStation 3 had been out for a while, and I brought this little device online that you like slide into your PS2, you pull open the tray, and then you can put in a copied disc and play it. Like, so I don't do any piracy stuff anymore. It was just, you know, didn't have the money to do a lot of stuff back then, and so when you can't afford it, piracy is far more attractive. When you can afford it, it's not worth the risk. So yeah, I think I had like a cracked PlayStation Portable as well, and haven't done any of that stuff in a long time. Don't really need to anymore. And also, I feel like the industry has caught up a little bit. Like one of the answers to piracy is to offer something better. And now that you have like remasters and just a really good level of quality for a lot of experiences online, like piracy is way less attractive now. Like you have to go through more effort and risk than just doing it the legit way, and that's obviously a good thing from a customer's perspective. Let's get a little light in here. We do need a light source somewhere just around here. Or maybe not, because it's kind of like in a corner, and as long as stuff doesn't spawn, we'll be alright. X's secret life on the wrong side of the... I feel like that sentence cut off early. On the wrong side of the law. It's not a secret life, it's just like... something... Maybe, you know... Maybe most of you have never like done stuff like that, but... growing up, it was just, I don't know, it was like very easily accessible, and it could be that these days, like, it's just not really a thing that people want to do. Like I said, the gaming experience today is just so much better and convenient. Like, it's more of a hassle to be a pirate and do that kind of cracking and stuff today than it was back then. Like, if you want to play old school games, you can kind of, like, get to them. You've got goodoldgames.com, you've got companies releasing remasters and repackagings of old games and making them work. But when I was growing up, if you wanted to play, like, one game that I was kind of obsessed with because I had, like, a childhood memory of it was Michael Jackson's Moonwalker game on the arcade edition. And, like, you had to go through a lot on, like, I don't know, like a Windows 98 computer, I seem to remember, or Windows XP or something like that. Back then, a lot of effort to get that stuff to run. You know, downloading emulators and ROMs, and now it's all just, like, plug and play and so simple to access. You can even go onto, like, Internet Archive and play DOS games in the web browser. So it's like that level of convenience has really changed things in terms of doing that. Nomadic Nova says, oh my god, the Moonwalker game, yeah. With that, like, isometric diagonal playstyle view. And like your special move was MJ, you know, doing his dance moves. Ow! Bum bada bada bum bum bada bum bum, and then like all of the bad guys on the screen would like burst into flames or something. Same with streaming. It was pirating, then Netflix, then the market exploded. Now pirating is up again, says XR Leon. Yeah, because there's so many platforms now that like you want to watch something, and then all of a sudden it's on another platform. I would say though, that there's a real abundance of shows to watch. It kind of feels like we're flooded with options, yet you're still probably going to want to watch like either the best ones or the ones that your friends are talking about. So that kind of crowds you back into that like piracy space a little bit, I guess. Right, so because of that, we kind of want to do this, and then have our next wall here, if we're going to go around the corner. Because at some point, like I said, I want to transition to Deep Slate. So I think what we're going to do is go like around here into this spot, because we don't want to mess with the waterlogged bit. I need to get those back. So we're going to have like another viewing spot right there, but we kind of need to put it in a way where we open up this bit down here and have another viewing spot further along. It's going to be like quite tricky to suss out. But I think continuing with this for now makes a bit of sense since it works. Let's go ahead and fill some stuff in. By the way, you've got over 900 peeps tuned in. Be sure to hit the follow button if you're enjoying the stream. Thanks for coming by and hanging out with me today. Hope you're enjoying the waffles. Vegeta says, how do you deal with the routine of getting boring through X? Like, I try to follow routines a lot, but I always struggle with it getting boring and my nihilism kicks in. So I'd love your opinion on it. Routines can get a little bit boring. You just got to change it up and spice things up here and there. Like, what is the purpose of your routine, I think is a good question. Like, why are you doing it and what's the end goal? Some of my routines that I started off with at the beginning of this year have become quite boring, so I change them up. My workout routines are always getting like tweaked and adjusted a little bit, and I embrace it because it does get a bit boring doing the same thing over and over again. You want to just change it and have a little bit of fun sometimes. So, you know, if that's how you're dealing with the routine, change it up. Keep it simple, just change it up. You know, don't make it like, here's my routine because I've got a goal, I need to get this thing done, and now I'm just going to go off and do something totally different. It's more like tweaking and changing, keeping it interesting. Finding ways just to keep yourself on with your goal, I guess. Yeah, even though like we can probably get away with it being dark like that, it does need some sort of light over here. I could just throw in some glow lichen again, I think. Candles are kind of cool, but I don't think they'd fit in there. Maybe an end rod, but an end rod's super bright. I really would love it if we had a little more control over some of the lighting in this game sometimes. Yeah, then we're going to need, I think we're going to need something relatively bright on this corner. Oh yeah, I'll tell you what we did before. We actually had like a border down at the bottom level, which I think I might bring back just because it will... Yeah, I think it'll look a little better with that. So this would then be spruce, and then on top of it we'll put something a little brighter. Maybe an end... I think a lone end rod will just look a bit odd, won't it? Especially when it's placed the wrong way. Too bright, too bright. We'll go with a soul lantern, which I have one of there, and we'll put it on top of that. Yeah, kind of works. Right, now I haven't built the roof up here yet, just because I'm not sure quite where it's going to go around this space. I still don't know what I want to do with this as well. So, since this is going in a good direction, we'll just build it up. And then we'll step back and look. Just pull together the elements that you can make work for now, and worry about the other stuff later, I think. Is it snowing outside? I believe it is snowing, peeps. Oh yeah, this is where they go. 1, 2, 3. And we need more of that. Put lights under the carpet. I don't like doing that. I want... Although I've done a little bit of cheeky glow lighting hiding over there, I kind of want the lights to be self-evident, right? Otherwise everything's bright without explanation. This is why I think we need a few more light sources in the game. Euphodity, thank you ever so much for the raid, my dude. Appreciate it. Welcome to all the peeps tuning in from Euphodity's stream. We got Billid6389 coming in for 2 months. Thank you so much for another subscription, my dude. Appreciate it. I can't wait to see what you hermits do with the 1.20 updates, says Evil Freak. Well, I can't tell you what we got planned, but some of the plans are pretty exciting. Begley says, I mean, even then, you can't still be goofed just by opening the wrong PDF file. These days, most common hack to get someone to open a PDF, which is an ICS file, which will copy over your cookies and data, which can be used to bypass 2FA on a lot of stuff. Yes, yes. Yep, I rarely open attachments on an email. You know, basically, in order for me to open something, it's got to be something that I've, like, spoken to someone about and asked for. Otherwise, why are you sending me a document over email? I don't touch it. Light Soul says, honestly, it's hard to learn a lot of tips to keep yourself safe online. Then there's apps to install that can keep your information private and safe, but I don't know how to get all of them. I would say thinking of installing apps to protect you as a solution is probably a way to get yourself in trouble, because, you know, if I were trying to steal your credentials, what I want you to do is install an app. So, you know, like, be careful thinking about it in that direction. But yes, this is the thing. It's like, how do you get this information to people? Because I'm interested and passionate about this stuff, I listen to podcasts about it and like learn a lot that way. But you know, it's not everyone's wheelhouse to listen to that kind of stuff. So like, how do you get across the best practices? It's a tricky old topic. Do you think Season 9 will become the longest, says Shoko? Yeah, I think it will. Season 9 will be the longest season of Hermitcraft. Isn't it already approaching that? Like, well, actually, it's been 1 year and 2 months or something? Year and a month, year and 2 months? Yeah, we're about to go into May, so it's 1 and 2. And I think the previous longest was 1 and 8 months. So this is probably going to be a long one. Absent Nick says, oh, on an interesting note, you'd think that the kids growing up with all this technology today would have the best understanding of it so far, but it seems that things work so seamlessly now that they actually don't, and those that grew up with technology being a bit more unpolished actually have a best understanding of it. I don't think the way you've worded that is probably the best way to word it, because it creates some like big open to interpretation statements about 2 different generations. Like, what are we talking about? A technical understanding? A cultural understanding? There's different aspects. Like, I think young people today growing up with the internet will understand its culture a lot more. The amount of times I encounter videos where I'm like, this is aimed at, I'm like, this is for a younger audience than me, is like one of my first thoughts. And then I realize that like it's supposed to be a comedy or something. And like, I'm just so disconnected from whatever the beat is, whatever the pulse is of like the younger generation. And yeah, I'm just not on the ball with it. I don't know what all the references are and stuff like that. Like, there's different ways of being online and what we're talking about. And technically, I don't know. Like, it's a really tricky thing to just apply that to like generations of people. How will they learn to not fall for a scam without being scammed in online video games like we were, says Vegley? I mean, but who are we talking about? Because some people are like really smart on that front. Like, I don't think I've ever been scammed online like that. Maybe saying I'm smart isn't the right way to approach it, but I just feel a bit savvy on that front. Like, I don't really get... I don't know, I spot the nonsense, but some people see that stuff differently. Yeah, I think the only time I could say that I got scammed was Well, I used to play this game called Outwar. Maybe playing that and putting my own money into it was a scam. That's the other thing, like, everyone's got a different definition of a scam. And for me, like, throwing money at an online computer game to buy in-game currency is a scam. And this was like the one time that I did that. And immediately I just sort of saw what was happening in my head. It's like, I'm getting really into this game and I want the numbers to keep going up, and now I'm throwing my own money into it. And so I immediately stopped. Like, it was... I must have put like 50 quid into it, which is like a lot of money. And then immediately kind of realized, oh, now I've spent all those coins and I need more. This isn't going anywhere good, and just stopped. But yeah, maybe you could say I got scammed, but there used to be this thing that people would put in their profile, and it would say, hey, do you want like an easy way of making coins? Just, you know, send me 500 coins and I'll tell you. Right? So send them 500 coins, and they reply saying, put the same message in your profile. And I was like, oh. So I put the message in my profile. I think I might have ended up doing that to someone else as a result. I can't actually remember if anyone then gave me coins from my profile, but that was it. And that was a scam, right? Like, it's like a pyramid scheme. It's important kids get scammed early so they know better growing up not to fall for things like NFTs, says Fegley. Well, it depends if the NFTs have valid applications or not, right? Like, not all NFTs are created equal. I don't think it's right to say that they should get scammed. I think no one should get scammed. It shouldn't be a case of, like, you should get scammed to learn a lesson. Like, the thing is, like, not that you should receive harm, if I word it that way, in order to learn a lesson. I'm trying to think of an analogy here. But I can't, my brain's just slow on it. You know, it's not right to say, you know, you should have something nasty happen to you in order to learn that that's not great. Like, we should find ways to make sure people know before what to do to not get scammed. No one should get scammed, but that's an ideal world. We don't live in one. It's best to always assume people are going to do what benefits them the most online. I think you missed my point again. Like, yeah, it's ideal that no one ever gets scammed. We shouldn't be going, oh, the world's not ideal, therefore you should get scammed so you learn something. Like, we should be trying to leverage it in the right direction, and the right direction, the end result of that is utopia, right? But I'm not saying utopia is possible. I'm just saying that's clearly the direction that you go in, right? Otherwise, you make up these arguments of like, well, you should get scammed so that you learn. Anyway. Let's do this. Fill in this floor. Like, there's probably stuff that people would never fall for today that they used to fall for, just because, you know, of how times have changed or whatever. And, like, that's the way to go, is to just make people smarter and better and give them knowledge and whatnot so that bad things don't happen to them. Like, there's, like, I don't know, diseases and medical things, health things that used to happen to people that don't anymore because society's advanced. But, like, should we go, oh no, you should suffer this illness so you learn how bad it is? Like, no, we get rid of it. What's one of those ones we basically eradicated? Was it smallpox? There's some diseases that affected a lot of people that have essentially been eradicated. You know, we don't want to go saying, well, you should get smallpox so you know how bad it was. That's the equivalence, right? Because in an ideal world, in our utopian world, no one ever suffers of anything, right? But should we go, oh, well, you know, we can't cure everything, therefore let's not try. Like, that's not the way to look at it. You aim for the best possible outcome. You aim for that great thing, knowing that the perfect execution of it is probably impossible, but that's the direction that you need to go in. because you need to find all the little steps we can take along the way that improve and make things better for everyone. I'm going to stand up. I've just been reminded I should stand up. Icepick, thank you ever so much for 23 months. Bring potato cannons to vanilla. That last video looked like way too much fun. It was a heck of a lot of fun. The old potato wars. The Arctic Viking, thank you ever so much for 52 months. Hi X, how you doing? I'm doing good. I'm doing good. As soon as you said that, as I was standing up, my leg felt a little bit sore. I went for a run outside yesterday. I really enjoyed it. I've been running on my treadmill, getting back into it this year. And I went for a run, all fine, but a bit sore in the legs in different places here and there, you know. I think it's just a case of running outside is different to running on a treadmill. And so, you know, what I would idealistically like to do is now run outside all the time. But my thing this year has kind of been like, take it easy. With the working out, with the running, like not get too into it. Like, the way I used to do it is I'd always be trying to run like an extra minute every time until I'm like running for 30 minutes on the treadmill. Now I'm taking it much slower and it feels much better doing it that way. So, you know, I'll just stay at a 15-minute run on the treadmill for like a month before I change it. And yeah, going outside yesterday, I want to run outside all the time now. I love it out there when the weather's like this. But I got a valuable lesson. Valuable reminder, a little bit of soreness. Alright, once a week now, that's all I'm going to do. One run outside a week if my body feels right for it, and then with time I'll get used to running outside and not on the treadmill, and then I'll probably have less achiness, and then I'll be good, because I'm a bit wary that when I tried to get into running earlier this year, I went for a run outside and the whole of my like calf and like leg just really cramped up, and it was like, We've got some deep questions here in chat. Tempest Free Winter says, but if people are basically guaranteed to suffer, shouldn't they suffer first in a controlled scenario? Not like giving them smallpox on purpose, but vaccinating against it. In that way, being scammed out of the virtual currency on an online game is an ideal way to experience it, and the consequences ensue you won't soon forget. Yeah, I think what you're describing, I would say, is a good thing. It's like a lesser of two evils, right? But the third option is, if we figured out a way to remove scams entirely, what a great thing. Right? So, like, it's kind of a way of going, it's better that you got scammed in that online computer game than scammed out of your life savings, right? Obviously, that's better. But we don't want people to actually learn that way, right? We want every single person to realise the way to walk in which they don't experience either thing. You learn it straight away, and you're smart, you're savvy, and you don't get scammed. That's what we want people, you know, we want to give people the information so that they don't experience that. Goo Milker says, hey X, I've been a little uninterested in Minecraft or Hermitcraft as of recently, but I've been started a server with a sick friend of mine, and it's been fun. Exploring large caves in the recent updates. Hope you're doing well. I've loved your content over the years. Awesome. Glad you're having fun with some Minecraft again, my dude. It's always good to play with friends. I want people to know it's bad to kill without having people killed, says Burt Potato. Brilliant. You just put it into one sentence. Let me say it again. I want people to know it's bad to kill without having people killed. Yeah, or having to kill people. Exactly. That's exactly the argument I'm trying to make. We identify the bad thing, but we shouldn't be going, you need to experience some of that to know that it's bad. No. Like, I get there is value in learning a lesson from something that's bad that could have been worse. But if there's a way for you to learn this thing without it being bad at all, that's the direction we want to go in. Right, let's have a little look back here again of, like, these potential views. We can definitely put a window in here. But then I feel like we would then have to preserve much of this, so we might skip that and aim for the one that's going to be down here. Part of me now is, though, kind of tempted to maybe not do that, because the original idea was to just really finish up this basement area. And so if we can kind of like bring this thing over to here and just wrap it up with this space, I feel that's probably better than continuously expanding it all the way down here just for the sake of it. We need to put some bone meal up the top there, and we need to get those back. Xisuma, is the character renderer a custom mod made for you, or can I download it on CurseForge? You can download it on CurseForge too, my dude. I think all the mods that we have are on CurseForge. Right, Brain, what did you want to do again? I know you want to do something, Brain. I wanted to grab some tools, I think, yeah. Yeah, the Reaper. The hoe. Last time I did this, it didn't have this skin. Some people are confusing me. It's like saying the way you learn to be aware in the outside world and pay attention when you're in public is to get kidnapped and then you'll learn your lesson. This is Light Soul. Exactly. Yeah, other people are coming up with the examples I couldn't. Like, you don't want people to get kidnapped to learn how bad kidnapping is. You don't want someone to get lightly kidnapped in order to learn how bad a real kidnap is. You want people to learn without having to experience it. That is the best possible outcome, right? So, like, aim for that. Don't aim for some, like, you know, partial harm to teach you a lesson. That just seems absurd to me. Right, in goes those and those. I believe they belong in another chest, actually. Yeah, that one, which has got chests in it, apparently. Chests that shouldn't be there. Yeah, okay, so I feel like this frame here just is... maybe I don't need to attach anything to this big structure, so I'm going to rip that out, which means we're going to have... I feel like that looks odd now too. This one here, though, I feel is okay. I could potentially put in a couple more slabs around the edge, I'm not sure. But the roof over here, because I kind of want to look up and see that. So maybe it stops somewhere around here and we go to like a new height. We could then actually maybe change this up a little bit and do something different in this space if this ends here. It could start with one of those, but yeah. Alright, so... what height do I want it at? That height or this height? I think it makes sense to have it a little higher, so I'm going to just go with the spruce wood and mud again. What did we actually do back here? Was it slightly different in this area? It was, wasn't it? Ah, yeah, maybe we'll make parts of that a little bit different over there as well. Yeah, we got some mud on the hotbar. I've also just got loads of random blocks all the time. Feels like. Where's the one with the greenery? Oh, that's a little clearer now, isn't it? Somehow I keep opening the same one. Right. Spruce stairs. Spruce slabs. Mud. Right, we've got what we need. Nope, I need some scaffolding. Yeah, but X, there are a lot of people who think that it won't ever happen to them and require experience to understand consequences. Yeah, again, like, don't assume that, like, that some people just can only learn through experiencing. I know it seems like that's the only way people can be, right? But if you write that off as a ceiling, then you live underneath the ceiling. You know, like, maybe it should be like, how can we reach people that think it won't happen to them, right? Maybe that's what you should be asking. How did we do it over there again? It was like one block higher. Dang it. Yeah, like don't put a ceiling on people. Essentially, I think is what I'm trying to say. Right, I think I need more mangrove wood as well, which is good because I've got a little bit of that. And then you end up putting people into like groups, which is usually a bad thing. Pax11, thank you for gifting a sub to True Pat. Appreciate your support in our community with a gifted sub, and True Pat, be sure to say thanks in the chat down there. Don't put a ceiling on people, says the man building a literal ceiling. I am literally building a ceiling right now. But yeah, like don't create those others and then describe what their flaws are, right? Or whatever. Like that's led to so many bad things over and over again. Ah, and then over here, oh yeah, okay, so we would have like this going on for a certain distance. I have 3 stairs left, so let's go 1, 2, and 3 as I feel. Oh, there you go. It's kind of giving us a hint as to where it ends. Yeah, this is just like dark and gloomy down here, or what? I feel like we probably should have done something a little more with those support things. Yeah, I got an idea now. Okay, so more of those. And since I'm running low on some materials here, we'll grab these. And then I want that block. And some candles again, I think. And then, like, again, just the amount of blocks in this game. Let's go 1, 2, 3. 3 candles. And then now I need this, right? Like, there does need to be something smart put into this game. Right around here. Like, all these different items and stuff. Always swapping them out. However, what I've learned is just to be a bit more patient with it, and that does get you some of the way. Maybe we'll put those bits like up top where they're like a little brighter. Whoops, that's not where I was trying to place it. Okay, and then this thing. I don't know. Right. Little support thing. Who knows? Who knows? Fagley says the problem with the education argument, though, is how do you teach someone what a scam is when the entire medium is rapidly evolving day by day and will only continue to get more and more sophisticated with the advancement of language models like ChatGPT? Let's all give up then. You know, let's just go and say, "Oh, ChatGPT, you win. We can't keep up," right? Like, why is the argument to accept some amount of badness as if it's okay to have that? Like, the end, like I said, the end goal is utopia. You can't actually get there, but you always try to head in that direction. You don't cast some people off to the side or leave them behind, and you don't say this much amount is acceptable. Like, the point is to try and find ways to eliminate all of it. And the reason being that if you go further back in the past, stuff that isn't a problem today was impossible back then. So, like, don't write it off. Don't put limitations on our potential. I just think it's a really bad, like, attitude to have, to act as if there's just some sort of limits and obstructions in our way and that some people should suffer because of it. Like, doesn't make any sense. Like, education is the answer, and it always has been. Education is why you're doing this right now. Like, the ideas that you have in your head, your ability to communicate with other people online, like, the distance to which our society has advanced is thanks to having robust education. Education used to be sequestered by the elite, you know, the ruling monarchs and whatnot. And guess what? Life back then was kind of naff, and things moved slow, and there's a lot of suffering and disease. And education becoming open to the masses is one of the things that has brought us to where we are now. I don't know what more to say. feel very strongly about this one. I thought about it a lot. Like, it doesn't make sense to me to have these, like, imposed restrictions on how far we can go and who gets to be a part of it. At this point, we could also argue that if you can't avoid bad things in the internet, then we should get rid of it. The risk is too high and go back to the Stone Age, says Phoebe. Exactly. That's another example of, like, people talk about that, though. Time and time again throughout history. The amount of technologies that have come along that are going to ruin everything, and this goes too far, and yada yada yada. Look, maybe I have this attitude because I've spent a fair bit of time watching, like, documentaries about different eras in the past, about the 70s, the 60s, or whatever. Like, I'm kind of fascinated in, like, the cultural landscape of those times and how people's attitudes and perspectives shift and change. And it's like one of those common themes is that there's always something that young people are into that old people say is going to ruin everything. And then guess what? It's old news now. Like, you wouldn't even... You know, Elvis shaking his hips was going to ruin the world, wasn't it, peeps? Don't shake your hips! Let's put a line in the sand. No shit, no hip shaking. You know, like, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm getting at. Right, no hip shaking. God, why is that so tricky to say? Don't shake your hips. Right? So the extension is we shouldn't be saying, oh no, some young people should get scammed so they learn a lesson. No! No, we shouldn't. We should be finding ways. Some of this stuff can be done, like, there's probably examples and things that already exist. I don't know, like institutions that, in fact it's probably everywhere. It's probably, like, so everywhere it's almost difficult to describe, but, like, we have institutions that create standards for, like, products and services, and they're just these invisible things that do a lot of good that you don't think about. And like, aren't you glad someone didn't put a line in the sand and go, no, let these, you know, corporations regulate themselves and all be fine or whatever? No, let a few people get scammed along the way, it'll be all good. It'll be all good. Where did shaking hips come from, says the Alpha Bot. So if you, let's say you, like me, you get curious about the past, you start watching some documentaries about different eras. You know, there was this series put together in association with Tom Hanks. Like, I think he just sort of funded it, but anyway, it's this, like, series of documentaries. Whenever I talk about this stuff, I think about these ones because it kind of pulled together a lot of different events in history that I'd learned about. Like, maybe one day you watch some documentaries about the first Apollo missions, you know, going to the moon and whatnot. But then they're part of an era in time that you learn other things about, and you might be like, oh wow, this happened when that happened or whatever. Anyway, these documentaries kind of focused on decades at a time and gave you a sort of insight into the culture of the time. It had a little bit of, like, an emphasis on television. It put a lot of priority on television, but then again, television was, like, a way bigger deal in those eras, so it kind of makes sense. They would talk you through, like, the big TV shows of the time or whatever. But in watching this stuff, you get a sense of, like, what it was like back then. You know, I'm interested, I'm curious, I want to know. But the recurrent things come up over and over again. It's like people saying this new technology is going to destroy everything, and then it doesn't. And you just see it over and over again. If you look into some political history as well, there's, like, always politicians saying that sort of stuff, like some people should get scammed or whatever. Let's pick out another message from chat. Tanisha says, documentaries that show past ways of living are so interesting. They're very interesting to me too, yeah. I'm fascinated by our shared history. What else? Bow down before me so I can walk on those for an easy life isn't really ideal for progression in life, says Bloodly Moon. I think I might know what you mean, but the way you worded it, I wasn't sure that I followed you at 100%. Look at this. Can't have, not even this. I won't allow the slightest missed detail in my base. No, 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 no. It's got to be perfecto mundo. Although here, I will just leave a gap for that little bit. Right, I kind of feel like focusing my attention on this side over here and then pulling it all together. Which makes sense, because I think I'm... Actually, if I'm not going to expand that, then maybe we could restore the window here idea, right? Because I did like that window. It was a cool thing to have. So if we were to do that again over here, before I go wrecking too much of this, this is a pretty good spot for a window, really, isn't it? Window into a cave. And it kind of looks like we can carve it open a little further than it was naturally, just for our view. For our viewing pleasure, let's say. Yeah, I reckon we could put in another window just here. It doesn't have the best view, though. It's quite a small cave, actually. Anyway, I'll leave that open as a consideration for now. Does this... Yeah, this does take me back. Cool, right, I'm going to sort my inventory out a bit. What will you do when AI starts making Minecraft videos, says Galactratron? I don't know. I don't know. On the whole AI thing, I found some absolutely... I can't remember if I talked about this or not. Absolutely amazing AI art of the person who directed the Metropolis film. Now, I always get them confused with a Austrian composer. It's just due to the nature of like how the names are foreign to me. But like Frank Liszt, I think, is the Austrian composer, and then the director of those movies is... Who can tell me the director of M and Metropolis? And what other movie did they do? Like 1930s, big stuff. They were Jewish, and they were German, and they met Hitler and Goebbels, who stated that they were like fans and that they would make them an honorary Aryan, and apparently his response was like, you don't get to decide who's Jewish or not, and then he left the country. I mean, good for him. He saw the danger and got out. Fritz Lang is the name. Fritz Lang, right? So there are these videos on YouTube, you can go look them up, of Fritz Lang, or sorry, let's say Hellraiser, the movie, by is it Clive Baker, or was Clive Baker the one who starred in it? I love the Hellraiser movies. Those were so much fun to get into. They were like these top shelf, not allowed to watch horror movies from my childhood when we would go to the video rental store. That was a thing. To rent out a VHS. What's that? Oh, X, are you a dinosaur? You know. Yeah, and I used to see these movies and I'd want to watch them one day. Well, when I was a teenager and I had a job and was hanging out with my friends all the time, got to this point where it was like, you know, like DVDs were a big thing, and now you could go watch those movies if you wanted to, right? Like, you can go get them. And so I got into the Hellraiser stuff, and I was like, this is amazing. It had so many quotes in it. Oh god, I really want to remember some now. Now that I'm trying to think about it, it won't come to me. But yeah, like, it's iconic. And Hellraiser 2, I think, is my favourite. Like, they came back stronger than the first one. So yeah, if you search Hellraiser and Fritz Lang, you see these incredible mashups of the art style of Fritz Lang with the Hellraiser characters, and it just feels like you're looking at some sort of iconic cinema that never existed. And I've seen a few others as well. There's one called, I think it's called Chrome Lords, which is Terminator meets RoboCop. And when you see the imagery from this stuff, you're just like, wow, this is like seeing the Stormtroopers in Star Wars for the first time, or something like that. Yet it's just a mashup of like existing things, yet the way it's come out is just incredible. Cowboy Up, here are some cheers and biddies saying we're probably about the same age, X. We probably are. I found online that you find people or things that you become interested in, and then at some point it's like you figure out how old that person is, and then it's like, same generation. Well, I guess that makes sense, really. Like, there is quite a lot of content creators I follow that are like within, 1 or 2 years the same age as me. And then it makes sense when you stop and think about it. It's like, well, you're interested in similar things for one, so that kind of explains something. I think I might give this back area here a little bit more blemish. So we got the honeycomb on hand. And like... something like that. Not a crazy amount. Just adds in a little something extra. Only at that bit though. I feel like around this area I want to keep it all top notch. So we'll have some sort of thing there. Then we need to tidy over a roof just to come to here, really. I kind of like the idea of maybe using some of those slabs. Also, your view from the stairs gets kind of cut off by whatever material we bring across here. Don't really want to use spruce again. Let's roam around a little bit. See if we spot a material. Like, I've left stuff like that just dangling down. Maybe junglewood. Maybe junglewood. Doesn't really blend into it. I think we're probably going to have to use one of these materials, really. Just to kind of get the blend going. Get that feeling of one to the next. In fact, it could just be that that bit there is like junglewood to begin with, or something that's already been used. Grab some of those slabs. I like the idea of using the regular copper. Do I have... I don't think I've got regular copper on me. No, I put it into one of these chests, I'm sure of it. Yeah. I find I can only make friends with people 5 to 10 years older than myself, says the bearded general. Maybe you're just like naturally into stuff from, the generation above yours, and that's just going to lead you there. I actually like the idea of all of that being a little bit lower. There we go. Then we've got the copper now. I don't think I want to continue with that. I kind of like the way you look up and see into this space. Maybe there's a way for me to embrace that, actually. Okay. Ender pearl time. So, like, let's pull this up to this level. Look at that. It wraps just around that space. That's probably going to work out pretty... Yeah, that's kind of alright. Just looks a little odd here and there. Yeah, then I think you need that. It's not actually in the right spot, is it? That kind of works. And then here, I don't know quite what we're going to do to continue it around, but I think we've created a little tidy up bit there, sure. Right, so then this bit here, I mean, it would be easy just to put in a bunch of whatever, just have like a slab of material. Then somehow we're probably going to have to tidy up this redstone a little bit, and then there's going to be a wall back here again. Probably, I don't know what I'm going to do with the roof of this area, but we're probably going to converge on this little viewing platform here. And it's like, where do I actually want to put it? Because if it's higher up, it kind of looks like off into the distance. So the last one was kind of elevated in an interesting way. What if this one was a smaller view that started from further back? Okay, somewhere I have a deep slate chest, right? Yep. Every time I look at chat, everyone is still, like, talking about the subject still. I'm ready to move on. It's hard to beat Minecraft, says Bloody Moon. Yeah. Minecraft's just consistently amazing. It's hard to get away from. Like, I feel like I've played it so much, it's sort of like woven into the tapestry of my being. If one has a tapestry of being, that is. Yeah, so if we rip out more of this, like I can shape this really as much as I want. That's a pretty darn good view into that spot. So let's say we want me... Yeah, I want to be at that height there with some slabs. Then the stairs would go to about here. It's actually like nowhere near as big as I thought it was going to be. Do I then want it to actually be like about here? Yeah, I think I want this window to go a little higher and be a little further back. Let's just start it. 1, 2, yeah, 1, 2, 3 to... Just picturing a few things in my head. I think I can make this work. 2, 3... No, it needs to go 1. Okay, right, let's poke around with this idea. So 1 there, 2, and then 3. I know what we could talk about. But Potato says, have you seen the D&D movie yet? I have not seen it. And I probably won't. But I did watch a movie. I watched The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. I think I talked about this a while ago. I actually read that book. I'm not sure if I read the sequels. I've got the sequels, but I was reading a synopsis of the follow-up one, and I didn't really remember it. Yet when I read the synopsis of... the first book, it came back really vividly to me. I do feel a little bit like it's 1 block too high. Wait, have I miscalculated something? I have. So actually that's fine because it works out perfectly. Right. I'm gonna rip this out. I'll just start doing what's needed next, essentially. To make this all make sense. Yeah, so this book, I read it a long time ago. But it says the remake of the original. When it comes to the movie, it's the Daniel Craig one that I watched. And it was really good, but the pacing of it really did... Like, I read that book a long time ago, so if I'd have read it more recently, I think I would have had a stronger take on this. It's not often that I watch a movie... and then read the book. In fact, I'm not sure I've ever done that. But once or twice, I've read the book and then seen the movie. And I really felt like the pace of the movie, despite being like almost a 3-hour movie, you could feel the pages being turned rather quickly. A lot of the dialogue was sort of snappy and sharp and quick. And there were many moments in the movie where I felt... I think I enjoyed the movie more because I'd read the book, because I felt like I knew these characters better than the movie was showing you. And there were just so many moments of like I have more emotional depth for these characters than is actually being shown to me through the movie, right? Like, because I've read the book. So there was a lot of that. Yeah, and so I don't know how it would seem to someone who hadn't read the book watching it, but the pacing was noticeably fast. And maybe if you hadn't read the book, you might not have felt about it the same way. Another book to add to my book list, says Napstein. Hey, yeah, like, read the synopsis, and if it sounds like something you're interested in, it's a really great read. Amazing story, and definitely, you know... Now I get why people say read the book first, right? Because I would say read the book, because I got to know those characters in that world much better through the book than I did the movie. And I think I enjoyed the movie maybe probably more because I knew the characters already, so... Interesting experience for me. Right, we're going to need some like hanging down lanterns somewhere around here. I'm just going to leave it, like, if it will let me place it. Oh, you can't place it on non-full blocks. I kind of feel like we need a little bit more light in the area. So we'll do like last time and build up. Ah, wait a minute. Have I done that right? I think I've misremembered the shape of it. I have as well. Ah, okay. So all of that's got to get pushed back by one. Yikes. Well, we'll do that. We'll push it all back. Hummingbird B! Thank you ever so much for 3 months of support. Appreciate it. Hope you're enjoying the stream. Vanilla Tweaks that is on X's server makes the game so much fun and gives it more options, I believe. I've beaten Minecraft before, but don't really care about doing it every time I make a world, says Bloody Moon. Yeah, the Vanilla Tweaks thing is all about just giving you that little extra. And on the Patreon server, there's definitely like, it's like Vanilla Tweaks Plus. There's a few extra super cool, very vanilla-like features. The note block being a really cool one. It's like an extra building block. Right, so now we're doing it like that. And do I polish deep slate with me? I don't think I do. Because I probably just chucked it all back. Oh look, I got a little bit left over, so I didn't chuck it all back. Yeah, I'm going to confuse myself again. Let's... So it goes in as far as that. That makes sense. Okay, and then a couple of these. And then everything else is the other one. X, when will Season 12 start, says Mass in Racing. Dude, you're late. Season 12 was last year, man. Yeah. Jeez. Well, I guess if you want to watch Season 12, it's all on YouTube. It's waiting for you. Is that the way I did it? So then... Oh, no, not that. Yeah, this would then start here, I guess. And then you'd have that little lookout. 1, 2... I think I might even make it, like, super small. I don't know. Let's put in a bit more of it. Like, if we make it as big as that... It does feel a bit wimpy in terms of width. But the view is spot on. I reckon... What do we got here? We want to make it one more wide. It's not aligned to anything else as well. Yeah, that just feels a little better. My god, is it dark here. Let's put down a soul lantern. Redo the stairs by 1 block. There it is. And then continue putting this stuff in, and some, where is it? Mud and stone. Right, and how many blocks gap? It should be 1, yep, and then we'll have, ooh. Comes super tight to that thing, doesn't it? I didn't really plan that way too much, did I? So let's imagine that this thing is like more blocks are like over here. I think the view is gonna be, that's gonna be a problem. So we do kind of need to keep it there. So let's say we actually go back by 1. So we've got this smaller window. And all of this comes back by 1. And that means that this here is where we have this pillar. Just gonna have to do something a little different over here. I don't know what it'll be, but I will have to figure it out. I think that can work. think that can work. Let's try it again, I guess. Yeah, and then we need 2 more stairs. Uh-huh. Not really as glamorous as the last one. I can actually, maybe what I should do is actually just make it like 1 block lower than that. Especially if I want to keep the ceiling kind of low in here. Yeah, I'm going to make it 1 block lower. That's what I'm going to do. And then that'll bring it in as well. So this would now be, yeah. Okay, right, it would go here. No, wrong block. And then that would be the ceiling, but we'll bring it out to the same spot there. If I'm doing all of this correctly, I think I am. Why is the hotbar cropped, says Casper? Just because I forgot to uncrop it. Oh, again, I look at the hotbar and it's like, I'm picking the wrong block here. I need the other one. Yeah, so that I place something and then immediately it gets broken again because all of this needs to get pushed back by 1. So it'd actually be like that with the moss going all the way up to the front and around to the side. Then we can get a sense of like the ceiling height too. So we're going to be like looking out from here, which is pretty much just as fine a view. Right, and I think I know where this is going now. Not so sure about this spot, but let's grab ourselves some spruce again. I'll have all of that, please. Make me a bunch of slabs. Slabby jabbies. Yeah, I think I'm going to double up here. Dang it, it's like that awkward like height where it's a little tricky to place quickly. Could Dolphin's Grace make travelling around the submerged part of your base better? No, it couldn't because it doesn't affect vertical travel. Right. Do you remember when X forgot to mute his stream and swore? I don't remember that. God. I don't remember it at all. X swearing? What? Like he's human or something? Jeez. Yeah, this is definitely the direction I want to go in. It's coming together slowly. Where are the stairs? Are we out of stairs? I think we're out of stairs. Let's grab some. Right. So then after those slabs, I want to put something rather purposeful in. These blocks. And then from here we'll have like a kind of big... Is that like a perfect diagonal? I don't think it matters if it is or not. From here we can have like a big upwards opening for the top of this. So I'm going to go ahead and bring this over here, as it's pretty much going to be a part of that. Look at that. It's going to tie things off nicely. In fact, I think that should probably come 1 block further forward. Maybe? No, I think that would be more of a problem if it did. Maybe just at this bit we need full spruce blocks. Which I don't have. Well, I got 1. Put 1 here. Right, then for this bit, what's going to happen here with the mud? What I don't want is this one here connecting. Which it didn't do. Good, good. Have I got any mud left? I do. So that's that little bit complete. And this comes all the way over here. Wonderful. I'm going to put a torch up here so I can see what I'm actually doing. And we're outstairs. Well. Yeah, this is shaping up nicely, actually. I'm pretty stoked about this. And I reckon there's going to be some room to hang some chains and light sources. Nice. All good. What's this contraption, by the way? Sorter, says Murphley. Yeah, it's a big old sorter. But we're going to have walls going up to the top. And then we're going to give it like a black ceiling, I think. So then those walls... Over here, they're going to get a bit muddy, but I'll figure out what exactly goes on this side. Now, I want the mud here to go up a little bit higher is the issue. A little bit higher, like up here. I don't think it's going to work, though, because you got... No, this should be totally doable. Let's say we come back here. Put that there. Right, we're going to need more mangrove wood in that spot. And... would that go all the way up? I'm not sure. But I kind of know that you want a little bit of this across. So we're going to have these blocks going up. And maybe they just continue. Like, okay, let's say that's one of those blocks that go all the way up to the ceiling. Then it'd be like that. Yeah, there you go. And then you'd have more mud. And maybe mud going all the way up to the ceiling, I'm not sure. It'll like disappear into the darkness, so that's the thing. Right, then on the opposite side we want... yeah, that above there. So I need to go grab more wood. And I need the mangrove wood. X, you did a poll recently about phantoms. Do you have any insider knowledge that Minecraft is actually considering removing them or making them an option? I don't have insider knowledge, but what I do have is insider knowledge. Like, I've got an insider who's not aware of what's inside of them. And I looked and I found phantoms. I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my god, there's a phantom inside this insider. I forgot about that. Let me go check that poll. I saw loads of comments on it. 52% said yes, remove them. 17 undecided, 30 no in the game. That's a wild and very interesting amount of feedback right there. Lots of comments. That's what caught my attention. I saw like loads of comments, and I was like, oh yeah, the poll, because it was just scheduled to go out, right? And well, let's get some scaffolding. That's not scaffolding. Yeah, I was very curious to see what people would think of that idea. Just like actually just removing it and being like, phantoms, okay, it didn't turn out so great. Let's get rid of them. You could give a bunch more options too, like try and improve them, right? But I thought I'd just keep it simple and be like, what if they just removed it? How'd you feel about that? I kind of, it's like, there's not a lot of stuff in this game I think I would care much for being removed, but I found the question interesting because the answer honestly is like, yeah, maybe just remove it. You know? Who designed it in the end? Because I think it was Jeb, and Jeb did just like the most amazing job with the Ocean Monument. I feel like the Ocean Monument is like some peak Minecraft design. Like, that's the way you add stuff to this game. And yet the Phantoms is more like, oh my god, what's happened here. Like, they just turn up and harass you at night time, and you have no desire to interact with them. And they're just a complete and utter hassle. Wait a minute. Was what I was doing okay? Oh, it's because I need... Hang on, I need to build more of what's below. Now, considering that things are quite different over here, we don't technically have to continue with this. But let's just try it, because it'll fit. And therefore probably look pretty decent. So, somewhere I've still got some... Again, I've managed to put this where I'm building. Like, I am now building here, and they are in the way. Brilliant. Just brilliant. Yeah, this might actually be kind of useful to do this. Oh yeah, look, it'll just neatly, snugly fit into here. Wow, like I've been looking at this space for so long and just been struggling with it, and it's been like, oh my god, how do I make all of this space down here make sense? But now, today, we've actually like, yeah, really broke some ground on it. Still a ways to go. Oh! It's off by 1 block, peeps. Actually, I will then use that to just make this wider by 1. Oh. In before derp. If I see 1 derp face in chat, I'm gonna laugh. Oh. Yeah, I'll take that. I'll take that. Just brilliant with depression dripping from his voice. Excuse me, the depression wasn't dripping from my voice. It was pouring. It was pouring everywhere. What is this dripping depression? I don't have a dripping depression in my voice, do I? Oh god, you give me anxiety now. There might be something wrong with me. I could flip that redstone into that back area, I've just realised. Which I might just do. It's a weird thing trying to put redstone on display. Like, because then when you come and build, it's like hard for it to feel integrated. Anyway, this is in the way. Do I have another torch to put down? I don't. Yeah, this won't be difficult to suss out now, but I've certainly given myself the options, right? Trying to picture a couple of things mentally before start building. Nah, I reckon that's got to be the end of this now, and we use some copper blocks to pull it over to the next bit. So the bit that we want to go up, I don't know. I'm not going to stop looking at it because we did so much good stuff over here. We should start really sussing this area out. I think there's a few lighting things to be done here, and probably not much else. Looking good, says Turnip. Thank you, my dude. Thank you. I appreciate you saying that. I've been following my own instincts. Sometimes it's nice to have someone back you up, let you know that it's all good, right? So clean the inventory out a little bit. We are looking for a little bit of this and a little bit of that, I think. What are we looking for again? God, my brain is just not staying on topic. Chains, that was it. Chains and lighting. Which both belong in here. Right, we're out of the one type of thing that I need, and we're out of the other thing that I need. So we need another chest. Oh god, chest monsters, they're everywhere. And I have to remind myself of why I opened this chest. I think I've hit a bit of a slowdown mentally, where it's like my brain is it's just getting that, I don't know, kind of like stream frazzle. Oh, that broke down nicely. I got no leftover nuggets. That's made me happy inside. No, it hasn't. Not really. Okay. Like, ooh, we could actually have them hang out a little bit further in front. I think 1, 2. Buckle my shoe. 1, 2. I'll put it in the right place. That's nicely illuminated. This won't be illuminated, so this one over here should be. But as you can see, slight problem really. Not really. I don't know. We can make that a full block. A full block of spruce, which I actually got up there. Last stream you said you wanted to mine and refill the copper machine every stream. Oh! Yes, I did. I wanted to make that a habit. And I feel like everything else to do here could be an off-camera thing. Do y'all want to see me mine some copper blocks? Oh, X! I've been waiting all stream for you to say that. The highlight of my day. Please break those copper blocks. Gosh, I've never seen someone break copper blocks like you do it. Yeah, we can do that. Let's get some serious, ridiculously serious hype in the chat for the breaking of the block that is the copper. People all around the world will be talking about it for millennia to come. You can say I was there when those copper blocks got broken. Because you're here with me right now. Time to go to David. David, where are thou? Wow, chat is actually going wild. I love it. We will swim. We will swim on the beaches. We will say those things that fat man said. And it will sound epic. Jane XO is here for 5 months. Thank you so much, my dude. Appreciate the support. I hope you're enjoying the stream. Oh, look at this. I've got some copper blocks to replace already. On the beaches, on the land. On the beaches and on the land, copper blocks. We will place them. Odd mood today, X, Suzuki. Every day's an odd mood for me. Look, this is what happens when you let a man talk for 2 hours. We enter the abyss. Slideshow says it's good seeing David Copperfield. It really is a build that every time I come here it's a pleasure to be, but it's also good to see it. As you can see, I've been playing a lot of Minecraft, so it's all loaded, it's all fired up, ready for a full refill, I believe. Unless... Oh, that was actually the end of my playlist, which means it's the end of my stream time as it goes. Wooly says, what the hell is this? This is the copper aging facility, known as David. Designed by Pixel Riffs, built on Hermitcraft by Pixel Riffs and myself. I won't send that module out because it's incomplete. But yes, it sends modules out to be aged. Individual copper aging things that go out and then come back in. There's some over here that haven't fully aged again. Probably the ones at the very back, yeah. I think, yeah, that one hasn't aged, so it's not coming out just yet. Right, as I said, the end of the music means it's the end of my stream as it goes. I didn't realise we were that deep into it. I knew we were approaching the end, but, you know, here we are. It's the end, my friend. It's time for a new beginning. I will go pick out a Minecraft channel to raid. Gonna pick a random stream. Someone with not a lot of subscribers, viewers. Big thank you to everyone today for tuning in. Be sure to hit the follow button. Big thanks to everyone who subscribed, resubscribed, donated and cheered. Thanks to all the mods, the patrons, the people gifting subs. Y'all are appreciated. Thank you for being a part of my community. And I found someone here who is doing a big stream project. What could it be? Oh my god. A big project on the streams? Anyway, sending you to a random channel, so I hope you enjoy it. Take care, everyone.